Coming up on KCCI 8 News Close Up, after 25 years, a changing of the guard at Catch Des Moines. Longtime leader Greg Edwards looks back as new CEO Trina Flack looks ahead to a new era of tourism growth. And one mom's mission becomes a reality. The new state law she fought for to help children battling a terminal illness, and why a doctor says this will be a game changer for families facing difficult decisions.
This is Iowa's news leader. This is KCCI 8 News Close Up.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us for KCCI 8 News Close Up. I'm Chief Political Reporter Amanda Rooker. Governor Kim Reynolds now has 2 weeks left to sign any bills that were passed this past legislative session. Now, she's already signed dozens into law, including sweeping new restrictions on diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. The law says all Iowa public schools, counties, and cities cannot participate or promote in certain activities related to DEI. It also makes it illegal to spend any state money on a DEI office or have staff that are dedicated to DEI work. That law takes effect in July. Another law could improve access to quality health care across Iowa. It was one of the governor's top priorities this session. It doubles state funding for student loan repayment programs and opens the program to out-of-state students if they commit to practicing in high-demand areas of our state for 5 years. The law would also bring more doctors to Iowa by adding 115 more residency slots to our state. And an Iowa mom's heartbreak turned into hope for thousands of families across Iowa. The governor signed a bill that this mom fought for into law this last week. It is in honor of Shanna Seek's late son, Mason. In his final days, his family learned that there are no pediatric hospice homes in our state, and that leaves a lot of families with limited options for end-of-life care. Shanna says this new law could change that.
Okay.
A moment of joy in Governor Reynolds' office that brought a mix of emotions for Grinnell mom Shanna Seek.
Emotional. Very emotional. Just wish that we would have had it for our own family.
A new state law in honor of her son Mason.
Mason was 7 when he passed away. He was diagnosed at age 2 with Gardner syndrome.
Her son Mason developed dozens of painful cancerous tumors throughout his body and had to be put into hospice. Iowa only offered in-home or hospital end-of-life care, and neither worked for Mason's family.
Our family moved like about 5 hours to Crescent Cove to a pediatric palliative care home.
Seek says it was difficult to move to Minnesota, but was the best experience at the worst time of their lives.
Knowing how much he loved it and he wanted to have other kids be able to experience that, it kind of fuels us to bring this to Iowa.
Seek made weekly trips to the Iowa State House, telling Mason's story.
We're at the point of where we think if we have this, it would also help the fundraising.
And asking lawmakers for change.
She's used her tragedy, her pain, and turned it into a superpower for good.
State Representative Eddie Andrews led the bill through the Iowa House. It allows pediatric hospice homes to open in Iowa, so families don't have to leave their support system behind to get the care they need. Seek says it's care that more than 9,000 Iowa children need right now.
How are you feeling? Proud. Very proud. I know he would be excited that we're going to be able to help other kids that need it like we did.
I'm joined now by Dr. Rebecca Benson. She is the medical director of the Pediatric Palliative Care Program at the University of Iowa Stead Family Children's Hospital. Dr. Benson, thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
It's an honor. Thank you for having me.
Well, first for our viewers, tell me a little bit about your role and what you do.
So I'm a pediatric palliative care physician at the University of Iowa Stead Family Children's Hospital. And our pediatric palliative care team takes care of children who have serious and complex chronic illnesses or life-threatening illnesses who are either inpatients at our hospital or we see them in clinic for outpatient visits to help monitor symptoms, help with communication and planning around helping their families manage the uncertainty of their serious condition. And so we're able to provide both inpatient and outpatient care for patients around the state, as well as our partners at Blank Children's Hospital, the Shine team in Des Moines, and ChildServe and other places that provide palliative care.
What constitutes a medically complex diagnosis?
In general, we help with children who have what we call a life-threatening or life-limiting diagnosis, in that they may not survive to adulthood. But one thing that we recognize about palliative care in pediatrics is that there's a lot of uncertainty. There are times where we wouldn't be surprised if someone died in the next year or two, but we also wouldn't be surprised if they lived for another 10 or 15 years. It's just a lot of uncertainty for families to manage, and often a lot of technology. Their child may have a feeding tube or a tracheostomy tube and ventilator. They may have many clinic visits. There's often kind of a joke that we share with parents that they should get a medical or nursing degree for being parents of a medically complex child.
Yeah, absolutely. That was one of the questions I was going to ask you, just about the differences in palliative care for kids versus adults. Does that change the services then that need to be provided?
We have a lot of supports across the state for certain areas of care. So in hospital care, there are some care facilities who will be able to take care of kids either in a rehab or transitional sense, or sometimes in a long-term care sense. When we are reaching end of life and looking into hospice care, we have worked with hospices across the state to provide care for pediatric patients, but that is not what they're used to doing. It's not their norm. It's not their comfort level, but things like hospice houses are typically not as available to children as they are to adults, just because there's different equipment that's needed, different size equipment, different medications. It's an entirely different population than what a hospice house might be used to working with.
And from your perspective, what does the need look like in central Iowa right now for pediatric palliative care?
Yeah, one of the things that's a real need for these families is respite care, and a place where they could plan end-of-life care that might be outside of their home if they have other young children, or if they just want to be able to be parents and not the around-the-clock caregivers. But I'll maybe talk a little bit more about respite care. That is something that families can hire somebody to provide some respite care through some of the waiver programs or on their own. But that's usually for a couple of hours at a time, maybe a shift so that they can sleep one good night a week, or so that they can work or do activities with their other children. There hasn't really been in Iowa an opportunity for parents of medically complex children to have respite care for several days or a week, so that they could go on a trip with another child or a work trip, or just take a break and actually get some rest and relief from that 24/7 care that they're used to providing for their child and that they love to provide, and that would be a fun experience for the child too. I think that's what we're really excited about, is that this would be a home away from home, like going to grandma's house or a camp for kids, if they could have this kind of respite care.
Yeah, from your job, I mean, you're working in a lot of difficult situations, I imagine. What type of emotional toll are you seeing that sometimes these situations can have on families?
So there's a lot of exhaustion. Families oftentimes are doing the best they can, but they are just exhausted by the level of care that their child needs. They don't have opportunities sometimes to do things that the rest of us take for granted, like travel or even go out of the house for several hours at a time with both adults at the same time. You know, sometimes one parent always has to be home. It's a challenging role that these parents face, and sometimes their extended families as well, and they take it on very willingly. But it would be wonderful if there could be more opportunities for them to get to do the kind of normal things that the rest of us just do without even thinking about it.
We've been talking with Shanna Seek, who was advocating for Mason's Law. The governor has now signed this. I'm curious what your conversations have been like with Shanna about the need for this law, or what type of effect you see this having on our state.
Yeah, so we've been in close contact, and I appreciate the fact that we've been able to really collaborate about this. I'm familiar with some of there are two other pediatric respite and hospice homes, one in Arizona, one in Minnesota, that Shanna's family is very familiar with. And the idea of bringing something like that to Iowa is just phenomenal. I'm very excited that they have been pushing forward this process so that we can have access to something like this for our families here, because I think it will really support them, give their kids a fun and unique experience, take some weight off the system. So we're really excited that this law has been signed that gives a possibility for building Mason's Lighthouse and having something like that here in Iowa.
Absolutely, and it's amazing to see just how much Shanna has done to push to have something like this in our state. Another thing I wanted to ask you, we've talked a lot about the toll on the families, but for the child, what could a pediatric hospice home, how important is that for just the experience that child can have in their final days?
I think one of the things that it offers is the chance for around-the-clock nursing care. There are things that are really hard to do in a home setting, especially if a child has a lot of pain or other symptom burden at the end of life, that can be easier to do in a facility type setting, but not everybody wants to have their end of life happen in the hospital. So this offers an in-between site where there is nursing care, there can be more potential equipment and people to use that other than the parents. So I think the symptom management of children can be improved. The fact that their parents can be parents and focus on loving them and cuddling them and reading them stories and talking to them instead of suctioning them and monitoring their inputs and outputs and really having to do nursing care. I think that is going to be great for many of our pediatric families.
Well, Dr. Benson, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your insights with us this morning. We appreciate it.
Yep, it's been great. Thank you for asking me.
Well, Catch Des Moines has selected its next leader as the current CEO prepares to hang up his hat after 25 years. We're sitting down with both of them when we come back. All righty.
So this is all pretty...
Yes, the If you've ever wondered how Des Moines lands huge events like the NCAA men's basketball tournament, the Dews skateboarding tour, Ironman, and more, the answer is Catch Des Moines. And the organization needs a strong leader to help secure those major events. So we have two of them sitting down on our set this morning. After 25 years, President and CEO Greg Edwards is stepping back, retiring to a new chapter. And we have the new leader, Trina Flack, with us that will be taking over in August. Thank you both for being here this morning.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Well, Greg, part of your job leading Catch Des Moines is bringing visitors to the greater Des Moines area. How do you do that?
Well, I mean, that is our goal, to increase visitors. Visitors may be conventions, meetings, sporting events, leisure travelers, bus tours, anything that brings in outside people into the Des Moines area. That all brings fresh dollars into our community. I mean, these are dollars that normally would not be spent here, supporting small businesses, supporting a lot of the big venues that we have, whether it be the Iowa Event Center or the Recplex in West Des Moines or all over the metro. And everybody feels that extra income coming in.
When you look at where the organization was when you started to where it is now, what's changed in a nutshell?
Well, it's changed dramatically. When I got here 25 years ago, we didn't have an Iowa Event Center. We didn't have a lot of the infrastructure. We didn't have a Jordan Creek Mall. We didn't have the outlets of Des Moines. All of these things that just really came together. In fact, I moved here from Peoria, Illinois, and it was a step up for me to move to a bigger city into Des Moines. But when I got here, I was like, oh my gosh, did I make the right move? Well, within probably a month or two of me being here, Polk County called me over for a meeting and said, hey, we're talking about building this new convention center concept and a new arena. And I'm like, yes, here we go. And it was things like that, and this city and this community has so many great civic leaders, not only CEOs from our corporate environment that's here, but other people that just like to get involved and make things happen, and this town did it, with private sector dollars, with government dollars, and all this infrastructure stuff just started happening. So made it a lot easier for us to start selling Des Moines, bigger conventions, bigger sporting events, all of those kinds of things.
A lot has happened in that 25 years.
That's right.
Well, Trina, now you get to lead this organization into its next chapter. What vision do you have for where you will take this group?
We have so much momentum. As Greg alluded to, and really a testament to him and his leadership, this community has stepped up and grown immensely, and I see that continuing. There are so many good, big projects and people working together. There's talk of the soccer stadium, the airport's expanding, there's consistently being more facilities, even the Grimesplex, which is still fairly new. So we have great assets and a great community full of leaders that are just continuing to push the growth and the opportunities forward.
Absolutely. But also when you kind of step into this role, there may be some funding changes. Greg, you mentioned in a presentation to the Polk County Board of Supervisors, because of some changes to property tax law, indirectly that will result in a loss of $800,000 in the upcoming fiscal year. Beyond what that means just to your organization, what does that mean for Central Iowa as a region?
Well, people don't understand a lot of what we do. I mean, people are always asking us, what's a Catch Des Moines, and so you give them the scenario I just gave you. But, we compete heavily with the big cities, Kansas City, Minneapolis. Our really comp set market is Omaha, Lexington, Kentucky, Tulsa, Oklahoma City. And all of these markets are growing. Their convention and visitors bureaus are growing in budgets. And in this day of age, and really since Trina and I have been in this industry, you've always bought business, whether it be you pay for the rental of the convention center or you pay for the rental at the Iowa State Fairgrounds or wherever it may be, because every group you go after and you put your initial bid together, and Trina's team would say it's going to be $40,000 of rent at the Iowa Event Center. The group comes back and says, hey, we don't pay rent anywhere. Okay, then we'll figure out a way. At hotels, sometimes we'll kick in some dollars in a rebate system, but most of the time we're putting in large dollars. Some of these major events that we bring in, we're bringing in as you know, this summer in July, the National Senior Games, 14,000 senior athletes will be here for 12 days. That was $1 million obligation on our part. So, we reach out to some of our corporate partners and get some sponsorship dollars for them, but for the most part, we're putting in those dollars. So we've got to grow our budget. Our budget's now shrinking, and Omaha, for instance, is a couple million more than what we have, and that allows you really to buy more business, and we justify it heavily because Trina does a great job. She'll run an economic impact study on the group to say, yeah, the group's going to bring in $15 million. Well, for us to put in 100,000 or whatever, no big deal. Now, we're not getting the 15 million,
right,
but it's coming into the metro and it's boosting the economy.
Well, I want to talk to you a little bit more about this, but first we're going to go to a commercial break.
Okay.
Our conversation will be right back after this break. Welcome back to Close Up. President and CEO of Catch Des Moines, Greg Edwards, and Trina Flack, who will be filling his shoes starting in August, are with us today. Thank you both for being here. Trina, you have 17 years of experience with Catch Des Moines. Before you take over this position, tell me a little bit about how that experience will carry over into your role leading this organization.
Yeah, I've been with Catch for 17 years, and that's all been really on the sales and event experience side. So have really good experience in bringing in groups and working with groups to make them happy while they're here. And Greg's been such a great leader on our team, and really for the last few years we've been lockstep, and the conversations at the national level with planners and at the community level with our civic leaders, and so have really that really broad swath of what's happening here locally and where our planners want us to be nationally.
Greg mentioned, before the break a little bit about the negotiation side of things to get people to Des Moines. But tell me, Trina, a little bit more about how you do that. How are you convincing groups that Des Moines is where they should be having their events?
Yeah, we have a full marketing plan throughout the year, and that's from attending trade shows of all different markets, and we focus on, the ag market, the religious market, education, medical, sports, as he alluded to. So just a variety of markets that make sense for our community and the size of groups that are willing to meet here. So we attend trade shows, we host events and luncheons, in Washington, D.C. and other areas that have a bunch of planners. Once we get somebody that's interested, we will have what's called a request for proposal, and we'll bring those planners in. We'll put together a bid with our hotels and our facility and try and make a short list, which allows us to bring that planner in and spend a couple days showing them our facilities and everything that the community has to offer. We partner with other cities that are like us. Omaha's a competitor, but we also do a lot of the same business. So the more that we can work together to be on a rotation, anything we can do to put our name out there. We have Catch Champions, which are people locally that say, hey, I've got an idea, or I'm on a board, why don't we bring this group here? And so there's all sorts of different facets that we lean into to try and bring new people to the community.
And I know it has a big economic impact on Des Moines and on Central Iowa as a whole. So Greg, thank you for the work that you have done over the past 25 years. And Trina, we appreciate you being here to share your vision with us. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it.
Well, Close Up, we'll be right back after this break. Stay with us. Thanks for joining us for KCCI 8 News Close Up. We'll see you back here next Sunday. Have a great day.